Okay, where do we begin this week? It is Monday, June 24th, 2024, and this Thursday is our first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And my friends, the propaganda machine is going into overdrive. No, I'm not being dramatic. I just don't think I've ever seen the desperation levels that we are reaching now. Now, I'm talking about our own press secretary telling us that videos of Joe Biden freezing up are just deepfakes, and our own congresswomen laughing off the rape of American children at the hands of illegal immigrants. The propaganda has just truly never been this ridiculous. And before we start the show as well, I'd like to thank Joe Biden for catapulting us into World War III as Ukraine bombs Russia with the U.S. weapons that we provided for them. And migrants continue to murder and rape American women and girls across this country. Yes, it is open season on our girls at the hands of those same rapists and criminals coming across our wide open border. You guys remember when Donald Trump said that it was criminals and rapists coming across the border, and journalists and reporters in the media spent years attacking him for it? Yeah, you don't hate them enough. But I promise after this episode, you'll hate them even more if you even thought that was possible. Now, we're going to start off with CNN today because, like I said, we're just delving headfirst into this propaganda, and they are the ones that are going to be moderating this debate, our first presidential debate this Thursday. So let's delve headfirst into some of this propaganda that would make any communist proud on this episode of Rapid Fire. My name is Savannah Hernandez, your host for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode as we try to traverse the complete insanity that we are all being faced with as American citizens. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You are all absolutely incredible, and I'm sorry it took me forever to actually start the show today. It is because I have a PC and it decided to start updating, as soon as I was ready to go. So thank you for being patient with me. We're here. We're ready to talk about the absolute insanity. Remember that one of the biggest ways you can support this show is through my Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers. You all always get a special shout out at the beginning of the show because I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you to everybody on Subscribe Star who helps create the show and keep it running. Now let's just jump straight into the news. Because like I just said in the beginning of the show, we are catapulting into World War III, right? And this is not me being dramatic. This is not me, just trying to make Joe Biden or the left wing and Democrats look bad. Not like when Donald Trump was in office and the media was consistently hitting us with all of this fake news about how Donald Trump was going to get us into a world war, how Donald Trump was imploding the economy, about how Donald Trump was a racist, sexist, biggest, misogynist, pick and ist. That's what he was, right? Under Joe Biden, we are truly crumbling. And again, this just happened, I believe, yesterday. Ukraine launches U.S. missiles into Crimea. And then this story came out this morning from NBC News. Russia blames U.S. for a barbaric Ukrainian attack on Crimea, summons ambassador. And let's not forget that it was Joe Biden that did give Ukraine permission to strike Russia with U.S. weapons. So, again, just us catapulting headfirst into World War III. The poster of this video of these missiles being launched said you are all witnessing the early days of World War III in real time. And to be quite honest with you guys, on a personal level, my stomach just sinks every single time I think about where we are as a country. Because in terms of where we are on the international stage, we're not in a good place. In terms of where we are economically for the average American citizen, you have people crying and pleading with our government because they can't even make ends meet and buy food for their families. In terms of the illegal immigration crisis, our border is so wide open that it is absolutely no drama here. Open season on our women and girls, and every single week we read a new story about how a young American girl has been raped or brutally murdered by an illegal immigrant who shouldn't be here. Joe Biden is wandering off stage and has to be tracked and monitored and basically led by the hand anywhere he goes. It's embarrassing. And then our own media, which is supposed to be tasked with making sure that the American people know what's really going on in this country, lie to us in our faces. And our politicians speak to us like we're idiots, like we're cattle to be herded and lorded over. We're going to be covering AOC in the Bronx too, so I can really highlight for you guys. This is going viral again. It went viral over the weekend. She held a rally in the Bronx to try to rival Donald Trump. And as you would expect, she didn't bring in the numbers, and it was a clown show. And of course, the mainstream media is trying to hype it up as AOC having all of this support, being the super cool young politician. And I view this because I know a lot of people are going to joke about it and be like, oh my gosh, AOC is so cringe. But I look at this and I'm like, okay, so that's what she thinks of her constituents. And that's what she thinks of the average American, that we are so dumbed down and stupid that her jumping on stage and dancing to Cardi B, just short of twerking, is going to appeal to the average American. Now, what I saw in the Bronx versus the crowd AOC attracted, I'm sure were very, very different. We'll get into that here shortly. But again, just giving you an example of how dire things are in the United States of America under Joe Biden. Russia blames US for a barbaric Ukrainian attack on Crimea. Russia summoned the U.S. ambassador and vowed retaliation Monday after blaming Washington for a deadly strike on a strategic port in occupied Crimea, claiming U.S.-supplied missiles were used in the attack. The strike left at least 4 people dead and more than 150 injured in one of the biggest attacks on the Russia-annexed peninsula in recent months. And again, Russia's defense ministry said it was 4 U.S.-provided Army tactical missile systems rockets that were intercepted over the city. And again, fragments from this 5th rocket led to numerous casualties among civilians on the ground. So we are bombing Russian citizens, just to give you guys an idea of where we're currently at. And then you go and you kind of peruse U.S. news, and it's like, oh, Congress is considering drafting or having women join the draft. That's really interesting. This article came out June 21st. I wonder why they're considering that, as we are catapulting headfirst into World War III. So just wanted to start the show off with that because, again, I sometimes feel like continuously highlighting the propaganda that we're being faced with is so repetitive. And I'm like, okay, what is the real issue here? But I mean, I think that is the real issue, right? The fact that we are consistently being distracted by the real news, targeted with propaganda, and then our own media, our own government hates us so much that they speak to us like we're retarded. It's ridiculous. It's insane. And they think we're so dumb that we can all watch a video of Joe Biden needing to be led by the hand by some foreign leader who feels bad about the fact that he's wandering off. This has happened multiple times now. And then our own media, tasked with making sure we know what's going on, tells us not to believe our own eyes and that we are crazy. So, like I said, we do have a presidential debate coming up this Thursday. It is going to be hosted by CNN, and the 2 moderators are Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, 2 very ardent Trump haters, okay? These 2 absolutely hate Trump to the point of comparing him to Hitler. Now, before we get into all of that, because that's really been the talking point on Twitter today, and part of me is like, okay, yeah, we know that these people hate Donald Trump to the point of comparing him to Hitler and all of his supporters to Nazis. We lived through this for the past 4 years. And again, just to highlight how insane this upcoming debate is going to be, which I'm still happy that Donald Trump is debating Joe Biden. I think it's going to be very exciting to actually see Trump take the stage again. He hasn't, been involved in a presidential debate for the past 4 years at this point. So it's going to be really interesting to see him back on the stage. And we all know that Joe Biden is in quite the mental decline. So it's going to be interesting. And what everybody's really focused in on is how cognitively Joe Biden is going to be able to handle this. Now, again, just to brush up with you guys on some of the rules for this debate, there's not going to be a live audience. There's going to be no opening statements. The microphones are going to be muted for, the opponent. So if Joe Biden's talking, Donald Trump has to be muted. And there's, yeah, like I said, no live audience either. And then also no notes. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these two men handle this debate, more specifically Joe Biden, because everybody sees how horrific his mental state, his cognitive decline has been. I mean, you even had Donald Trump today talking about how he would take a drug test if Joe Biden was willing to, because I guarantee you 90% of this country is very aware of, or, aware of basically that Joe Biden is on drugs to keep him awake. So that's happening this Thursday. And then you have Donald Trump's spokeswoman go on CNN, and they're trying to talk to her about, the debate, what to expect, this and that. She's there to speak on behalf of Trump. And then Cassie Hunt. Okay, so she's a CNN anchor. I mean, I'm just going to let you guys watch this video for yourselves, because this, more than anything, just highlights how Thursday is going to go, and I'm already annoyed with it. We would expect nothing less from CNN, but I mean, this is what everybody's focused in on today. Check out how this interview went between Trump spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt and Cassie Hunt of CNN.
It takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently,
we're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep
President
attacking
Trump
my colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you
I'm
continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline.
Okay, so there we go. She immediately gets shut down. And my favorite part about this clip is they kick her off the screen and then they go, "You're more than welcome to come back anytime, but you cannot disrespect our colleagues." And then Cassie Hunt goes on Twitter and she says, "You come on my show, you respect my colleagues, period. I don't care what side of the aisle you stand on, as my track record clearly shows." It's just such a joke. And you know what, guys? It's like I have this whole show planned out for you guys, and I'm sorry you haven't been here for a while. It's because I have been traveling. I was in Boston covering the migrant crisis up that way. By the way, just some of my reporting for you guys if you haven't seen it. The state of Massachusetts spending $5,400 on one room without a kitchen for migrants. Okay, $9 million just going to this hotel out there. We'll talk about that later on. But it's like, this is what we're all focused in on. And I'm just so frustrated because, again, too, it's like last week we watched more women and girls just get absolutely slaughtered and raped by illegal immigrants in this country. And then you have CNN, who is going to, of course, lie about Donald Trump, is going to silence him. I mean, that's why they're muting the mics on Thursday. This isn't a debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's a debate between Trump and the CNN moderators, because I guarantee you, Joe Biden is going to lose his train of thought, and then they're going to jump in and say, "Oh, did you mean this? Actually, let's back up that point." And I guarantee you, they're going to hit Joe Biden with some like BS Mickey Mouse question, like, "Joe, you just made America so great over the past 4 years. What's your favorite thing that you've done?" And then for Trump, they're going to be like, "Yeah, you're a Nazi white supremacist, and let's talk about Charlottesville and go ahead and repeat the same debunked lies that we've heard for the past 4 to 5 years." Wait, how many years now? 8 years? It's been so long. I feel like I'm in a time warp, right? This has been happening since 2016, but the media has been lying to us so consistently about the same thing that I feel like I'm in a time warp, and I've been living the same 4 years over and over and over again, and it's freaking exhausting. So yeah, we know CNN are a bunch of hacks. They're pathetic and they're ridiculous. And it's like, I have to play devil's advocate even with my own self, because on the one hand, it's like, cool, we are getting a debate between Trump and Biden. On the other hand, it's like it's with CNN, and we all know that this is going to be staged propaganda. And I think I'm just so tired of being lied to, and I'm so disgusted with where we're at as a country. And truly, you know the phrase, "You don't hate journalists enough." Like, that's where I'm at. I don't even want to watch this debate because I already pre-hate the moderators, because I know that they're liars and propagandists. Let me give you an example of who's going to be moderating this debate, okay? Because again, little Miss CNN anchor here, Cassie, "Please don't disrespect my colleagues by telling the truth. That's a really rude thing to say." Okay, what did they say then? Let's go ahead and use their own words here so we're not taking anything out of context. Let's listen to Jake Tapper himself.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. This time given life by former president and current Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump.
Let's recognize this comment for what it is, a long-standing anti-Semitic trope that the true allegiance for Jews is to their religion rather than their country. It was used in Nazi Germany to justify the arrests, persecutions, and mass killings, attempted extermination of the Jewish people. And Trump has been pushing this trope for years.
He talks about the blood of America as being poisoned, echoing the same exact language used in Nazi Germany.
So there you guys go. There is a point-blank example of CNN creating this fake Hitler-esque Nazi narrative around Trump, and then Joe Biden himself repeating that very thing. So regarding this Thursday's debate, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think, again, the important thing that we should all be focused in on is the fact that we are headed into World War III, that Congress is considering drafting our daughters into this war, because guess what? The average American, the average white American male is not looking to be a part of the military anymore. Why is that? Because this entire country has been so subverted and destroyed that the average American does not want to be a part of these wars that, by the way, they know that we shouldn't even be involved in to begin with. Look at what's going on with Israel and Palestine. Look at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. These are all wars the U.S. should not be involved in. We shouldn't be sending billions of dollars overseas. Meanwhile, here in the United States, the American people cannot afford food. We shouldn't be spending billions on illegal immigrants that shouldn't even be here. They should be mass deported, and we need to clean up our own country. And I really hope and pray that, if anything, Donald Trump is able to go up on the stage and say, hey, Joe Biden, thanks so much for starting World War III and the migrant rape crisis ravaging United States women and girls. Thank you so much for that. Good job. I hope that Trump is able to highlight all of the bad things that Joe Biden has done. But again, these mics are supposed to be muted because Joe Biden cannot handle real discussion, real debate. And we are all living in this fake fantasy land in which we think we're a democracy and we think we have rights and freedoms. But in reality, we are literally watching a presidential debate in which they are going to be hand-holding Joe Biden and everyone's just like, okay, we'll take it. The foundations of this country are no more. And again, I don't love coming on here and being so black-pilled, but also it's like every single time I go out and I cover the migrant crisis, I see the streets of America, it breaks my heart because we are being stolen from, we are being taken advantage of, we are told that we are not allowed to be patriotic, we're not allowed to love our country, we're supposed to welcome the immigrant, even though these illegal aliens, by the way, take advantage of us, do not respect us, do not respect our country, because if you respected a country, you wouldn't break into it. You wouldn't break the law to get into the country. And you think that breaking the law stops after crossing the border? No, it doesn't. We're going to speed through all of the migrant crimes and rapes that Americans are being subjected to because Alejandro Mayorkas, who is our, head of the DHS, refuses to actually do his job. So again, we have Karine Jean-Pierre talking about how these videos of Joe Biden are deep fakes. And I mean, why not take advantage of the fact that they can lie to us about that? The average Biden supporter, because I have spoken to some of them. When I was in Boston, I tried to do a couple of man on the street interviews, and I spoke to a couple of residents, and a lot of them were Joe Biden supporters. I spoke to this one gentleman, and he and I did have a good conversation, but I was like, why are you supporting Joe Biden? And he was just like, I just don't like Trump. And that's always the thing with these people. And I've gotten to the point where it's like, we have irreconcilable differences with the left wing if you're willing to sacrifice your entire country because you don't like a guy. And that's where we're at right now. We're at the point where we have our press secretary coming up in front of the entire nation and saying stuff like this.
Instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos. And it is, again, done in bad faith.
So there you guys go. I'm going to play some deep fakes right now so you guys can see what Karine Jean-Pierre is talking about.
Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to do so.
Okay, so there's one deep fake of Joe Biden. Oh, wait, just kidding. That's a real video of when he was announcing amnesty for 500,000 illegal immigrants that shouldn't be in this country to begin with. That was him losing his train of thought. That happened last week. Let's watch another deep fake here. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is from basically all of these celebrities getting together, having this gala, trying to drum up support for Joe Biden. He's standing on stage with Obama. And as you guys can see in this fake video that, it's clearly AI. Obama is leading Joe Biden away. And what you guys aren't seeing is the context here. I mean, I don't know how the media is expecting us to frame these things, but it's like we all clearly see these videos. There's Joe Biden like awkwardly standing on stage, needs to be directed. He looks like, again, it's just like your old grandpa who wandered outside of the retirement home, and you're like, come on, grandpa, let's go. It's okay, let's go get you some ice cream. And again, our press secretary gets up in front of everybody and says that that's just a deep fake and that we're all crazy. And my response to that would be, if that's a deep fake, Karine Jean-Pierre, and Joe Biden really isn't a senile old man who needs to retire and never be seen or heard from again, then why do we have tweets like this one with 65,000 likes? Having a Joe Biden Monday after a Hunter Biden weekend. It's just funny to me how I see these tweets and it's like, yeah, our press secretary tries to get up in front of everybody and lie and pretend that Joe Biden is senile. And then you go on the internet and you have Gen Z young people posting images like this one, manifesting a Joe Biden summer, eating ice cream and forgetting where I am. And then people joking about how just incapable Joe Biden is and making memes about it. And let's not forget that the Biden administration was going to spend what? I think it was like $85,000, $65,000 or $85,000 yearly salary for a meme manager, because that's how badly Joe Biden is doing on the World Wide Web, just so we're all aware. So, yeah, I'm just exhausted. I'm truly just exhausted. And I remember during the last election cycle, I was really energized about going through all of this propaganda and being like, no, this is fake. Let me explain to the American people why. And now I've reached the point where it's like, if you're too stupid to understand that this is propaganda at this point, there's no saving you. It's done. You're done. If you really think that Donald Trump is still a bigoted racist at this point, then you need to be deported alongside all these illegal immigrants because you're too stupid to function. I want to be the peacemaker. I want to bring people together from both sides of the political aisle, but also it's like you need to have like brain cells to be able to talk politics though, right? So it's like if you are still voting for Joe Biden because you hate Trump, and if you're anti-Trump as well, because I'm seeing some of that in the right wing too, where it's just like, Trump did this, Trump did that. Yeah, Trump's not perfect. Trump has things that absolutely he needs to work on. We're never going to get the perfect candidate. And I'm just so exhausted, I think, with people in politics consistently picking apart and wanting the perfect candidate when it doesn't exist. Guess what, my friends, everybody listening to this show, by the way, if you see a problem, you can do something other than just go on Twitter and tweet about it, right? You can actually go outside and get involved in your local community, your local government. Go and yell at your city council. Go have your voice heard. Go make sure you're voting in primaries. Make sure you're voting in state elections, because that's where you make a change. But no, the average person in politics just goes on X and complains and whines on Twitter about how Donald Trump isn't doing a good enough job. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing, American citizen, to actually help the problem here? Just questions that I have. We have AP fact-checking the claim that President Biden froze on stage, citing an anonymous source, plus a spokesman for Jimmy Kimmel basically saying, oh, this video was taken out of context, and we think that you're so stupid that you will actually agree with that. We also have Harry Sisson, who is a gay man pretending to be straight, paid operative by Joe Biden, posting this video of Donald Trump's rally, which is at capacity, and trying to point out that it was empty. I mean, again, this is the IQ level of these people. If that's the side you truly want to be on, then, more power to you. I don't think you should have the ability to vote because you are clearly lacking in the ability to think department. So this is where we're at, my friends. I just don't even have the energy to discuss these things because it's just so stupid. The average politician just thinks you're so stupid and subservient that you are going to read this headline like this one from Newsweek. Donald Trump accused of repeatedly waving to nobody. As my good friend Harrison Smith points out, he's literally waving at the camera. So this is how bad the propaganda levels are getting to, where Donald Trump is like shaking his son's hand. And then you have people like Brian Tyler Cohen, his show is called No Lie, taking a screenshot of this and saying, here is a photo of Trump having to hold someone's hand to guide him off stage. I'm sure this will get just as much coverage as the daily Biden old story gets. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now. It's like we have literal propagandists, right? That, again, would make any communist proud. Looking at Joe Biden, they see he's senile. We see he's senile. They see that he is not mentally there. We see it. But they still are like, yeah, I'm going to take the paycheck and sell out my entire country. Have fun drafting your daughter for war on behalf of Biden. We're going to make up a bunch of lies about Trump now. And maybe it is because they know the average person won't go and look for themselves and try to search these things out for themselves. There is still a large population of Americans who need to be told what to think. And I've seen it myself. It's really sad. And I mean, again, that's why we are where we are. And I wish there were easier political solutions to these things, but I just don't think there are. I mean, this is democracy at work, I suppose. Like retards being able to decide who becomes president, and then your entire country gets destroyed. And then your women and children get raped repeatedly by the diverse illegals that they allow into the country. Just really heartbreaking. Just really heartbreaking. I think that I just have all of the energy zapped out of my body after reading just all of these continuous horrific headlines about how bad the country has gotten. And it is hard for me to have hope as well for, I guess, us to take it back. I know we shouldn't be blackpilled in that sense, but it's like, I feel like we continue to go through the same patterns over and over and over again of us combating these fake lies. Like, I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I mean, I don't even know what we do. I don't even know what we do. Anyways, let's talk about AOC and her rally this past weekend. Now, I actually went to Trump's rally in the Bronx, and he garnered, I think it was about 10,000 people. It was huge crowds. I was actually even shocked at the amount of people that were there because I got there at around 9 a.m. that morning. The rally didn't start until 6. And there's probably like 100, 200 people outside. It was raining. It was really cold. Not cold, but it was rainy in the morning. So it was rainy. It was muddy. And so AOC was actually like, oh, thank God it's raining. Haha, nobody's going to go to the Trump rally. 10,000 people showed up. So AOC tried to do a counter rally in the Bronx. And this is what it looked like, my friends. So by the way, a lot of the people, the majority of the people in the front are journalists. But AOC posts this video of herself. And she's like, oh, yeah, we had 1,200 people come out to the Bronx. It was amazing. And then this was how she came out on stage. This is where we're at in our country. This is the average politician. So she's dancing to Cardi B in this video. And again, I'm like watching this on Saturday as it's happening in live time. And I just keep seeing all these videos of AOC jumping around like a retard on stage. And I'm just like, what are we doing as a country? Is anybody else embarrassed that this is the level that we've stooped to? That the average politician is this ghetto? This woman's hopping around the stage acting like a trap queen. What is going on? And again, too, like, listen to AOC here. This is, ugh. Okay, no audio on this clip, which you're welcome, by the way, because I highly doubt you would have wanted to hear this. But she's screeching. She's on stage screeching, and she's there for Jamal Bowman, who also was just acting just absolutely ridiculous. And I think that's why I'm at right now, where I'm like, why do we have leaders in this country who don't even have the ability to act like adults? Like, we are such a freaking joke. Do you remember like a month or two ago when Marjorie Taylor Greene got into a shouting match with Jasmine Crockett and then AOC, and then Jasmine Crockett was like basically taking her hoops out and taking her weave off so she could go punch Marjorie Taylor Greene in the face? It was embarrassing. And then AOC's talking like a freaking 15-year-old who's addicted to hot Cheetos. It's embarrassing. It's just so embarrassing. Like, take this ghetto behavior and go leave it in the barrio. Don't bring it to Congress. It's pathetic. Here is Jamal Bowman.
We're gonna show them who the fuck we are. We're gonna show them who the fuck we are.
So there's your average low IQ Democratic congressman or politician who is speaking to constituents that are so stupid that they get hyped up to Cardi B and vulgarity. There you guys go. That's the portion of America that we're dealing with. And again, it's like, I just don't have the patience today to deal with people who are attracted to that type of politician, because quite frankly, it's pathetic. So here's AOC promoting her little trap queen dance video from this past weekend. She goes, Fox News is big mad that we're for the many and not the money. We rallied 1,200 people in the Bronx to take on dark money, get fired up, and send busloads of volunteers to canvass and phone bank. It's called organizing, and it's fun as hell. I can't even do my fake AOC voice because I'm just like so annoyed at the state of the country right now. But here's her bragging about her 1,200 people in the Bronx after trying to roast Trump. And then again, let's not forget, because by the way, if you go on Google and you type in Trump rally or Trump crowd size Bronx into Google, because Google's manipulated as well, every single headline is going to be Trump overestimates crowd size. MAGA tries to act like there's such a big crowd in the Bronx for Trump. Yeah, okay. So there's AOC trying to act like she had a big crowd. She's like, yeah, we got 1,200 people. Donald Trump, again, this is law enforcement sources, 8,000 to 10,000 people. And I was there. I can attest to that. There was a crap ton of people in attendance. And there were even people attending that, again, were registered Democrats that were like, I do not like Donald Trump. Go watch the interview that I got on my Twitter account. Sorry, X. Twitter would have banned something like that, because let's not forget that journalists like myself were banned for 2 years. And why is that? Why is that? Because communists and people like AOC and Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush and Ayanna Pressley and Jasmine Crockett, they can't compete with the truth, and they can't compete with people with like a basic IQ level, because they're that retarded. I need to stop saying retarded today, but it's just like, that's where we're at, guys. We're living through idiocracy, and I can't handle it anymore. This is why I just like to do my on the ground reporting. Like, I've had so many people be like, hey, Sav, like, do regular shows, do this and that. And I'm just like, I just don't even want to do the regular commentary, because sitting behind a desk and having to look and consume at all of this just dumb energy and this retardation coming out of Congress and our highest institutions in America and our leaders and our intellectuals, it's so sad to me. It's like, we deserve to be destroyed at this point. I kind of want the country to just, we need to just reset. We just need a reset. We are living in diversity, equity, and inclusion America, and our politicians are stupid. Everything is burning down. Everything is crumbling. The average criminal is allowed to go and shoot you in the face and then rape your children, and then the DEI judge goes, "Oh yeah, go ahead, and we're gonna let you out. No bail. Just go ahead and go back home. We totally understand you were having a mental health episode." And then the white liberal on the street is gonna go, "Yes, yes. We really need to be understanding and loving of this person's hard time." I wish I was making that up. There was a literal rapist that was being confronted in Portland, and a white woman came up and was like, "I just want to make sure that he's okay." Let's just watch this video, okay? I was going to save this to the end, but it's just like I'm all over the place today. This is who Joe Biden represents in the United States. So this is a predator getting busted trying to meet with a kid. Okay, so this is like one of those videos where they do the whole to catch a predator thing. And he's going to meet a child in Portland, and he's confronting the guy on camera. Okay, this to catch a predator dude is confronting a child predator. And then a white liberal woman does what white liberal women do best. Watch this video. It's ridiculous.
You think we can talk about this?
Yeah, in a civil manner.
Yeah, I haven't yelled at you or anything, right? I mean, you can ask him why he's here if you want to ask.
Oh, I live in the neighborhood and I do a lot of mutual aid for the houseless.
Oh, no, he's not houseless. He has plenty of homes.
To make sure that he was not being harassed.
Oh, am I harassing you? You want to tell her why you're here, or you want her just to probably move along? Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Not really, but
do you want him to go away?
Do you want to talk about this? Or?
I do. I want to talk about it.
Right. So.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the brown person was safe.
Okay.
The brown person is safe.
Yeah, because we take
have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day. This is the step into Portland right here.
So that's where we're at in this country. You have a freaking literal pedophile. I just want to make sure the brown person is safe. And you know why else I'm probably pissed off? Because I went to Norfolk, okay? I went to Norfolk, Massachusetts. You know what? I'm deviating from my typical show outline. And my show outline is just like 70 articles open, right? Because I usually am like, okay, this is the flow of the show. We're going off the cuff here. I think I'm frustrated because I actually spoke to a white liberal like this last week. I'm in Boston. I'm reporting on the migrant crisis. They did a really good job of hiding it in that whole state, by the way, because guess what? They get flown into Logan International Airport, right? You've all seen the videos in Boston where they're all sleeping in the airport. And then they take them and then they ship them to smaller cities and towns throughout Massachusetts. So, maybe this little town of 11,000 people like Norfolk gets 500 migrants. Okay, we're saying another 100 migrants, 45 minutes outside of Boston to Dedham. And they're shipping them all over. So they're not like in New York where you're going to walk on the street and you're just going to see these hordes of migrants there. And it's consolidated, spread all out, all over the country, all over the state. Sorry. So I'm in Norfolk, right? And this is it's a gorgeous little town. It looks like it's out of a storybook. It's like all of the buildings have gold, beautiful lettering on it. It's, beautiful green lawns. It's gorgeous. It looks like OG America. Beautiful, small community, 11,000 people. They have a prison, right? It's about 10 minutes outside of the town. The state of Massachusetts is sending 450 migrants that way, and that might not seem like a lot of migrants, but if you are a small town of 11,000 people, that's quite the influx, okay? And guess what? The residents there didn't have a say because the prison, it's called the Bay State Correctional Facility, is state-owned. So the governor of Massachusetts, I believe her name is Maura Healey, just goes, I'm going to send the migrants there, and you can't say anything about it. So that's what's happening, right? And I go to Norfolk because they've been going viral for their town meetings because the residents have been pissed off about the fact that they haven't had a voice and there's a crap ton of migrants coming to invade their little town. And so I'm walking around the town. I'm looking for people to interview. Everyone is pretty tight-lipped. But of course, I stumble upon 3 liberals, okay? So based off of what I've been seeing in these town hall videos, I was like, oh, it should be pretty easy for me to find some like more, I wouldn't even say like Republican or conservative, but I was just like some, citizens or residents who might be kind of upset about this based off of some of the videos we've seen. I'm walking around, see these three people standing in the park. And they're like, oh yeah, the farmer's market just ended. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I am here to report on the migrant crisis. Would you guys like to interview with me? I want to ask residents how they feel about the migrants coming to the prison shelter. And I am not joking, my friends. They look at me and they hit every single diversity point in the book. Every single one. I was shocked. I was like, what are you saying to me right now? They go, we're really excited for the diversity. I have a vegetable farm, so I'm really excited for the migrants to come this way. I don't know what she meant by that, but I was just like, okay. They said, every town hall is like a MAGA rally now, and it's really scary. This was my favorite quote. We are more worried about the migrants because the microaggressions are going to become macroaggressions in this sea of white. I'm not joking. This is what was said to me, to my face. And I always think about this and I'm like, I wonder if they would have said all of that to me if I wasn't a brown woman. Like if I was a fellow white, would they have felt the need to pander so hard? I don't know. And I always kind of do look at it through that lens because, to be quite honest with you guys, why do you think I always get such crazy man on the street responses when I go to rallies, when I go to protests? Because people look at me and they think that I'm liberal because I'm mildly tinted. And so I'm standing in this little beautiful town in Massachusetts, and I have these three liberals sitting there telling me how excited they are for diversity. And I wanted to jump in and be like, I've been covering the migrant crisis, and I don't think you guys are gonna get what you're expecting. I don't think you guys understand what's been going on across the country. But they kept going with every single diversity talking point that I couldn't even jump in. And I was also shocked too, because I just wanted to be like, can y'all stop? You guys don't have to say this to me, right? You can just tell me how you actually feel. And again, I have the natural inclination to do that with white people because so many times, I mean, I'm sure you guys remember that one clip with that kid and he's telling me about his white privilege and this and that. And I'm like, why do you think you have white privilege? And he goes, I don't know. It's like, what rights do you have that I don't have? And he was like, well, I don't know if I really believe that, but I was just scared. And so it's just hilarious because this is the America that we're living in, and it's just really heartbreaking to me. And again, too, the reason I went on that tangent is because in that video, you have this white woman going, I just want to make sure the brown person's okay. How freaking racist and pathetic do you have to be to look at somebody and go, oh, a brown person, let's make sure they're okay. They need extra security and safety, and we need to hold their hand. It's like, no, ma'am, he's a rapist. Okay, I guess. YouTube is gonna love this video. Jeez. Yeah, that's where we're at as a country. And you know what my new favorite thing too is, because I have been monitoring what the left wing, what these Democratic politicians have been trying to set us up for ahead of, again, the 2024 election. And it's this narrative, again, that Donald Trump is going to do everything that Joe Biden has done. So we've seen AOC saying that she's scared that Trump is going to throw her in jail if he's president. You have Joy Behar and Rachel Maddow saying the same exact thing, that they're scared that Trump is going to be vindictive and pull them off of the air, and that he's going to send them to camps. You have Chrissy Teigen, I'm scared that Donald Trump is going to come after me. Robert De Niro saying the exact same thing. If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for us. You're not special. Nobody gives a damn what you have to say. And please, for the love of God, actually do what you're going to say and move out of the country if Donald Trump becomes president like you said you would. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming after you. You have your freedom of speech in this country, just like you always have, unlike people in the right wing who were censored and silenced, who did have their lives ruined, who were threatened if they didn't take the COVID vaccine and were kicked out of their jobs, who were threatened to have their children taken away from them, who were told, oh, you want to go to the grocery store to buy food? Well, you have to wear a face mask and do exactly what we say. And if you don't, we're going to put you in jail. Oh, you opened your business? This was Shelley Luther out in Dallas. Oh, you opened your hair salon because you're hungry and you want to eat and you need to make money? Well, we're going to throw you in jail. Oh, you're a January 6er who got led into the Capitol by the Capitol Police? Well, we're going to throw you in jail too. Oh, you're a nurse who sees that in Texas we're giving children genital mutilation surgery, even though it's illegal, yeah, the FBI is going to come to your door. So it's so exhausting to me to have to like cover this BS. That's what it is. It's part of my French. It's bullshit. Okay. Like I said, I don't like the vulgarity, but sometimes it's called for. And I think in this instance it is, because this is what's going on in our country to real life American citizens who actually care about this country. You had a nurse who had 2 FBI agents sent to her house to intimidate her because she told the truth about a child sex change program happening at the Children's Texas Hospital, or the Texas Children's Hospital. And this isn't the first time we've seen FBI agents go to people's homes and intimidate them. And it's not the last time we're going to see that either. And these same politicians and this same media that are pretending that what they have been doing to all of us is going to happen to them, it's never going to happen. Because unlike the left wing, the right wing is not vindictive like that. We never have been. And that's honestly one of the reasons why we always lose. Because the left wing will jail us, they'll persecute us, they will arrest us. They won't even stop short of killing us, and they have. Go wear a Trump hat in Portland, see what happens. You'll get shot in the head like the Trump supporter that was up there, by the way. And all of these same people run cover for the illegal immigrants killing American citizens. This was Simone Sanders on MSNBC getting angry because you had Kevin Roberts of the Heritage Foundation here in Texas calling illegal immigrants illegal immigrants.
What do you tell the parents of those people, those young girls who were killed? This is absurdity. The preponderance of these people, Michael, are male.
But what is the difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity?
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So undocumented individuals.
That's sweet. They're illegal aliens.
We don't like that word. That's not a nice thing to do or say. So again, ahead of 2024, the left wing is going to pretend that Trump is this scary dictator, authoritarian, because again, that's exactly what Joe Biden has been doing. And then they're going to run cover for all of the illegal aliens who have been in this country terrorizing American citizens who simply want a government that is going to care enough about them so they can buy food and afford to live and eat. Just like, it's astounding where we're at right now. This was Representative Pramila Jayapal and Joy Reid as well, talking about the illegal immigration crisis. And it's just truly infuriating and disgusting to me, like I said, that it's our children that are being sacrificed daily to illegal immigrants in the name of inclusion. And this is the response.
This is one of the reasons that people have these sort of thinking. Here's the 3 cable networks reporting of this. Our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old in New York City.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have
that's
a lot of fear-mongering.
Exactly. And that we know that.
So there you guys go. Oh, a migrant raped a 13-year-old girl. That's just fear-mongering. It's just ridiculous. Well, who cares about that 13-year-old girl that got raped in New York? Who cares about the 12-year-old girl who just got strangled to death by 2 Venezuelans in Houston? Who cares about the mother of 5 that was also killed by an illegal alien after being raped? Who cares? It's just fear-mongering. That's the left wing and that's the media. These are the same people who are going to pretend that Donald Trump is going to target them and silence them when they have been doing the exact same thing, and now they're running cover for literal murderers and rapists. Again, giving you an idea of how bad things have been getting here. I'm sure you guys have already seen all these stories, but let's go ahead and brush up because this is what your average Democrat politician thinks is funny. Ecuadorian migrant who allegedly raped 13-year-old girl in New York City said he recorded the attack in sickening confession. By the way, this Ecuadorian illegal alien He was caught by Border Patrol back in 2021, and then he was released into the United States. Okay. Luckily for us, a group of good American citizens beat him up. They tied him up when they saw this story and saw that he was wanted. But again, it's like in New York, you think the police are going to help you up there? No, it's up to the average American citizen to help capture these rapists on the street now. We have Jocelyn Nungare, whose 12-year-old daughter was brutally raped for 2 hours by 2 Venezuelan men. They lured her under a bridge. They gagged her, they tied her up, they raped her, and then they strangled her to death and disposed of her body. That's what your average Democrat politician thinks is funny. By the way, they were also apprehended crossing the U.S. border, and they were released by Border Patrol. Rachel Morin was a mother of 5 out of Maryland who was killed by an illegal immigrant from El Salvador. And yeah, he raped her too. And guess what? He was also a godaway that was caught by Border Patrol and let into this country. Robbie Starbuck, last year an illegal alien, was arrested after raping 14 kids in Franklin, Tennessee. I promised I'd do everything I could to get a law passed that would allow the death penalty for child rapists in Tennessee. And the governor of Tennessee wrote that bill and they got that signed. So you do get the death penalty now if you rape children in Tennessee. Thank goodness. I don't understand why this isn't just law across the entire United States. But good job to Tennessee. But that's what illegal immigrants have been doing to our girls nationwide and our women nationwide. And instead of telling you the truth, we have an entire faction of this country that not only lies to you, but defends this type of behavior and will tell you to vote for Joe Biden because they simply do not like Donald Trump. An illegal immigrant with 16 prior deportations killed Scott Miller while speeding and driving without a CDL. Mendoza worked for MINNECT Trucking, a California-based trucking company, and has a history of violations. There you go. 16 prior deportations. Another American citizen killed. So just wanted to run through a little bit of that with you guys because it's heartbreaking where we're at right now. And, I'm not joking, 70 articles, 70 tweets to go through with you guys. And I think it's just, why bring light to these issues when nothing is ever done about it? Sometimes I get blackpilled, but that's what's going on. You guys know, I know. And, my only hope is that hopefully enough people wake up in this country so we can change this and actually take our country back, make it great once again, because we are not in a great place. And I'm even at the point too where I am, like, you guys have seen my reporting over the years. I'm not one who gets scared, but I'm at the point where I am kind of nervous reporting on the ground now, being around these migrants, because these aren't just innocent women and children coming across the border. They are rapists and murderers. And it's like I've been on the ground and I've seen how the country has devolved, and you now have cartel members and members of very violent gangs that have fled their country and have now made the United States their home. So that's all I've got for you guys today on this episode. Sorry, it was a little bit of a black pill. I just truly, my heart breaks for all of the families who are suffering in every single way under this administration. Whether, again, that's with losing a family member to criminals, whether that's just suffering under this economy. I mean, I didn't even cover the story, but you have I think it's $165 million high rise going up in Los Angeles, $600,000 per unit for homeless people. And another thing too that's interesting to note is that that's how the media is now starting to phrase illegal immigrants. They're just calling them homeless people. This is something I noticed up in Boston. is that they started grouping the illegal immigrants in with the homeless, so that way they can just blanket say that these are all homeless people. And so over the next year, the media is going to start reporting on the homeless, not the illegal immigrants that shouldn't be here. So keep that in mind as we continue to just catapult into the insanity that is the 2024 election. I hope things get better. That's all I've got for you on this episode. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. And again, too, special thanks to my Subscribe subscribers. Without you guys, this would not be possible. So I'm really appreciative for you for always donating and for always supporting. Also, too, make sure to check me out on Rumble, because YouTube absolutely hates this platform. And guess what? Even our last show was age restricted because I showed a stabbing out of, I believe that was Germany, right, where that police officer was apprehending a German citizen that was trying to stop a violent Muslim immigrant, and then the Muslim slashed the officer's neck. So again, it's like we live in a society where you're not allowed to show the news because people, the media, politicians, whoever you want to pick there, don't want you to know who's perpetuating a lot of these crimes. But we will continue to show you these things here. So make sure to follow the show on X and on Rumble. I will always stream there because YouTube absolutely sucks. And with that, I'm done with this episode of Rapid Fire. And I appreciate you guys for always tuning in, always supporting. And I hope that, if anything, we can continue strong, continue forward, and take this country back. All right, y'all, I'm going to get into super chats now. Sorry, that was such a depressing episode. It's just like, my entire country is being torn to shreds. And I think about this a lot, my friends. I really am just very patriotic, and I love the United States. And it just really breaks my heart that this is where we're at now. Mark Zart says, good afternoon, Sav. Our so-called politician leaders in the media hate us and think we're stupid. They say Biden is as sharp as ever and that videos of him wandering around are cheap fakes. Everyone can see he's not there. Very true, Mark. He then says Trump needs to bring up Biden's failures. He also needs to bring up Hunter's laptop and Ashley's diary. I agree, Mark, but it's also like, okay, we already know all of that has been a thing and it's all been proven. What's going to happen? Nothing. So we need a lot more than that. Michael Salo says, Trump 2024, learn to love it because it's the best thing going. Saska Frass says, liberals and diversity. During COVID, I was cut out of their lives as unclean and unvaxxed. Something like 95% of the racist BS and exposure has been cut out of my life too. Very interesting, the correlation there. The Reckoner says, Julio Hernandez, go to the gym. All right, Dad, you're getting called out in the chat today. I've been trying to get my father to go to the gym for a while now. So I am happy to see that you guys also agree with that. On Rumble as well, we have AP from the Hills who says, let's go, Sav. Got to see your coverage of Massachusetts hiding illegals by dispersing them into other cities and towns. They seem to pick places where the public won't see them like they did in Quincy. Absolutely, AP from the Hills. Thank you so much, too, to everybody on Rumble. Special shout out to you guys for always tuning in and hanging out. Again, my Rumble audience, I like much more than my YouTube. Just kidding. I love all you guys, but also too, we all know how trash YouTube is. And, to the X audience as well, it's really awesome to just have you guys all tuned in. My dad told me for so long to stream my show to X, and I just never did, and I finally do. And, we're getting double, triple the views on X than we are on YouTube, and people are actually finding the show for the first time, which is great. And, this wasn't the strongest one because I just feel so tired and overwhelmed with how bad the United States is right now. But again, it's like, you know what? We'll freshen up. We'll recharge. I'm set to travel again this week. I won't tell you guys where, you'll see, but I'm already feeling blah about it because seeing the decay of America takes a toll on me, guys. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode. I'll see you guys next time, and I appreciate you always for being here. And we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.